Hello everyone, thanks for being here. I'm honoured to be here in Istanbul. I absolutely love this city. Today I'm just going to talk about harnessing data in a mobile world. For those of you who aren't familiar with inmobi, we're the world's largest independent mobile advertising network. We have over 1.5 billion unique devices on our network globally. And we work here with a very close partner of ours, our exclusive reseller Bullseye, who are a sponsor today. So in essence, we're an app-first mobile advertising network with over 32,000 apps globally. And I myself am based in Dubai and cover the entire region. So I want to start my presentation today with a personal experience. I remember when I was about 8 years old, my father came home from work with a big box of encyclopedias. And my mum was absolutely delighted because I didn't have to go to the library anymore. And she didn't have to waste petrol money going to the library anymore. So I managed to sit at home, do my homework from this amazing collection of encyclopedias. Whereas now kids have it easy. Wikipedia is obviously the first place anyone goes to research these days. And I've got quite a funny video just to start off with.
Peter, come take a look at this.
Mr. Daniels.
Mr. Daniels.
Look at this.
What's this? The numbers, they keep getting bigger and bigger.
The clicks are off the charts.
Yeah.
Yoshi, it's Walter. We're back.
Yes, sir! Tracking! More shifting! I need more trees!
More trees? I'll get you more trees!
Hey, take a look at wood pulp.
Whoa. Everything you got on wood pulp right now.
He really loves that thing.
So you can see there how things have changed massively. And the next slide kind of brings us on to how actual mobiles change the internet as well. So I'm sure all of you have heard that it's the year of mobile. I hear it every day of every year that I've ever worked in mobile. But truly now, mobile really does extend the internet. You can see here a study which was done in the UK last year. As you can see, that smartphones, sorry, the slide's not working there, but smartphones are in orange, in purple, and tablets are in orange. So you can see that people are rating smartphones and tablet-connected devices more important than desktop these days. And then, interestingly enough, apps are really driving that. So now more than half of the internet usage is actually done through mobile apps. And smartphone and tablet devices. So you can see the increase there in 1 billion minutes spent online. So welcome to the mobile first world. This is quite a funny statistic that I saw, but believe it or not, the current smartphone now has more power than the Apollo 13 moon mission did in the 1960s, which is absolutely incredible. So that's quite a cool stat as well. And I mean, even if you look around you, mobile really is changing the environment around us. This is quite a good picture from Southeast Asia where you can see even the way we walk down the street now is dictated by the way that we use our mobile devices. And it actually also is changing the relationships that we have as well. So interestingly enough, 5% of Americans met their partners on mobile dating apps last year. And quite another funny statistic is that 1 in 5 people in the US blame Facebook for their divorce. So I think some people need to change their privacy settings. So what does that give us then? So actually mobile's created an entirely new ecosystem. It really is a place where businesses, people overlap every single day, and brands have got a fantastic opportunity to harness and be right in the middle of this ecosystem. In fact, what we're even seeing now, interestingly enough, is a lot of brands are utilizing mobile in their offline campaigns as well. So the next slide is actually a video of a great ad campaign which Nando's did in South Africa, where actually the anchor of their TV ad campaign was smartphone usage in itself.
Melissa is so lost in the taste of her flame-grilled peri-peri chicken that she hasn't shared a selfie for over 12 minutes. And as the seconds tick by, an anxious world wonders, where is Melissa? Does she still look the same?
There's something going on.
But for once, Melissa isn't hitting share.
So So I thought that was a fantastic example that I saw in South Africa, again, of how people and brands are now using their smartphone devices to communicate offline as well. So just kind of getting onto the second half of my presentation now, I really want to talk about the core of kind of inmobi and actually the epicenter of mobile, which is data. I'm sure all of you have heard many a time the words big data, but sometimes we kind of overlap on how to use it properly. For us as a mobile advertising network, kind of the center of everything we do starts with the SDK. So this is a piece of code which is in all of the 32,000 apps that we have in each smartphone device, and it gives us tons and tons of first-party data that we're able to use effectively to help brands communicate throughout our network globally. That first-party data obviously gives us, as I said, a lot of information, which includes both location and audiences, and this is what we utilize to help brands reach audiences at scale. And we believe that we can achieve that by having three key levers of mobile discovery. So the first is context, the second is behavior, and the third, certainly last but not least, is creative as well. So we believe if we combine all these three things together, we can actually give a really, really cool, seamless user experience and allow brands to engage with our audience at the same time. So let's take one at a time. So first of all, I'm sure, again, that you've all heard right ads to the right people at the right time. But we can really use data for context. So these are some examples of audience profiles that we've actually built by looking at both location data and things like audience data in terms of what content they're reading, what ads people are clicking on. And we actually build these personas, and we have over 70 of them in inmobi as well. So you can see, first of all, the first example is Kayla. We know she's a frequent traveler, because not only have we seen her in airports recently, but we also know that she's looking at hotel apps, at car rental apps, at tourism services. She's interacting with travel-related advertising. So we start to build, rather than just having that data segment, we start to build an idea of who that person is, and we're able to target them throughout the network. Secondly is Stan, who's a sports fan. Now, not only do we know he's looking at sports content, but we've actually seen him at soccer stadiums, or American football stadiums in this case, in the last kind of month, so he might be a season ticket holder that we're able to target. And finally, there's Erica here, who's an entertainment fan. So again, we look at location data as if she's been in the vicinity of, for example, music concerts. She might be in cinemas, in nightclubs. She's also looking at different content on her phone that is entertainment related. So again, we're able to build and use that data to understand our audiences. So what does data look like? It's quite confusing. I was never very good at maths, so when I look at this, I get slightly scared. But this is basically latitude, longitude. We must remember that data is just a piece of binary code. It doesn't need to be massively complicated. It's how you use it that matters. So this is about how we can use data for being in the right place. Now, these latitude, longitudes are actually pulled from inmobi's network to visualize commuters that are traveling into London on a weekday. So we actually use this data for a very famous cafe brand in London, and we delivered ads to people that we saw commute into London over the last 2 weeks in these areas, and actually offer them a redemption for a free cup of coffee when they got to their central London station. So that's a great example of how we can actually bring data to life. This is another really good example that we're working on at the moment. I'm not sure if there's many Manchester United fans in the audience, but I'm certainly not one anyway. But again, what we did here is we looked at English Premier League football fans that were travelling from London to Northern games, and in this case, Manchester United. We actually worked with Guinness to discover where these people were travelling from and to. And then after the game, at 5 p.m, when we know that they're getting back on the train back to London, we actually serve them with a redemption offer for when they get back to London for a free beer after the game, which I'm sure they probably needed playing Manchester United. And finally, data and creative. So this is kind of, if you like, the be-all and end-all of mobile as far as I'm concerned. The real hook for brands has always been creative, especially what we can do from a rich media functionality as well. And we can actually use data in creative now to bring in APIs of different map examples and link that with user behavior as well. But we believe that there's 4 golden rules to this. So the first is to repurpose less. Time and time again, we've actually seen brands and agencies sending us TV ads to then repurpose for mobile. But it's an entirely different behavior when you look at how people actually consume video on mobile. So first of all is repurpose less. Secondly is build for intent. So what are your KPIs, and actually what do you want the user to do once they actually see the ad? Try and link the creative to the KPIs that the brand might have. Thirdly, it's about immediacy. So actually bringing someone into the brand, understanding the brand, and giving them something that they can experience there and then. And finally, build for immersive reactions. And immersive interactions are actually something that, again, we can use data for to actually understand people's behavior whilst they're on the rich media ad and report way beyond just the initial click. So here are kind of some of those examples brought to life. So Repurpose for Less, this is a classic example of a luxury brand where it's always been very difficult to actually use anything but repurposed video. So what we did here is we worked with Dior to actually overlay the video ad with a click experience of the different products which were in the video itself. And then at the very end, we're able to link that to the nearest store where they can actually redeem that with prices as well. So that's quite a nice example of how we helped to repurpose a TV ad to be rich on mobile. The intent you've already seen. So this is, again, the example of football fans that are travelling up from London to Northern Games. Again, redemption, coupon redemption, and using data in the Google API that we had to bring in maps into the creative experience. This is a great example of immediacy. So this is actually utilizing 360 video for Samsung Gear VR. So once a user actually interacts with the ad, they can see there and then exactly how a VR experience might look through an ad unit itself. So it shows the user how to actually set up the VR itself, and then you actually get the full VR experience through mobile-rich media. So I think that's a great example there. And finally, the immersive reactions. Sorry if these videos play at the same time. This is another great example that we did for Samsung home appliances. So this is actually a 360 video of someone's kitchen, and you can actually click on all of the different Samsung devices that are around the kitchen to experience them. It tells you where your nearest store is, the price of that particular product, and the benefits as well. So I'm almost done. The next slide is kind of where I'm going to finish off. Hopefully it kind of encompasses everything that I've spoken about today, about how you can actually merge data with audiences by location, but also inside the creative as well. So the next slide is a case study from Dyson, which we worked with in Singapore.
When the haze struck in September 2015, Dyson wanted Singapore to know its purifier was the best. All eyes were on PSI levels. This was a clear opportunity for awareness. The challenge? Adapt messaging in real time and at scale as the haze unfolded. Mobile was key to adaptivity, and dynamic messaging, the chance to ride the haze. Protect yourself from the haze appeared on mobile apps around Singapore. This message adapted to show PSI levels in real time alongside Dyson's purifier. Whatever Singapore was doing on mobile apps, the message was clear. Dyson was innovative, Dyson was there to protect, Dyson's purifier could be trusted. Intrigued users interacted to find out more, opening a map guiding them to their nearest store. 85% agreed this adaptive approach helped protect them from the haze. 91% showed interest in purchasing a Pure Cool during and beyond the period. Most importantly, Dyson sales quadrupled and the need for a Pure Cool had extended to all year long.
So a great example of how we harnessed everything in Singapore. So thank you very much. That's it from me. If you've got any questions, please reach out to me on email or on my Twitter account. And once again, thank you very much for your time.